November last year, I was in Saudi Arabia with some of the localization leaders. We were down in Riyadh. The conversation was around, we arrived to Saudi Arabia, and it was the year of the camel, for instance, right? So that's a cultural thing that is celebrated in that particular culture in Saudi Arabia. And, the entire conversation around understanding the tradition and the culture of that particular country. Similarly, in North America, like whatever you are, any culture is using technology. I think we need to seek first to preserve the culture before we start translating, give me a beer, or, tell the Uber driver where I'm going, or, why did you take the wrong, the wrong street, for instance. Those are rudimentary things, and you can get them from any technology. That's fine. But when it gets to a certain level of communication, I believe in my heart, I believe that technology cannot do it yet. Maybe down the road it will. It cannot. Why? Because I believe there's no way. I mean, maybe my computer science background doesn't allow me to predict down the road, because technology is changing quite a bit. But as it is right now, in my opinion, and my human philosophy would tell me, you cannot take the human emotion, the human tradition, the history of that emotion, where that emotion came from, grandfathers, like what you were mentioning earlier, parents, etc., encapsulate it and encode it into a mathematical formula. It's just like I can't wrap my brain around that one. You cannot take that human emotion and put it in mathematical formula, because it's emotion versus science. Science is fact. 1 + 1 = 2. We have databases, we pattern, we do cross vectoring across these databases. We conclude something. This is the output that any technology will give you, AI included. But a human emotion, and if you don't have all that tradition, that history, like you mentioned earlier, like, my parents couldn't get a job because they didn't speak. How would AI know that? How would AI know that you're communicating with them from a point, from a position of history that affected you personally? They don't have that data.
No, they don't. And we all have each unique meaning that we bring to the world because our experience is unique. I was born in Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean with parents that only spoke French, and I speak from that specific experience. And all I can do is meaningfully exchange that. And AI cannot create meaning. Meaning comes from human interaction and human connection. And yes, we see some very powerful pattern recognition and output, but that meaning is essentially human. And I don't think, from what I know of technologies, I could not agree more with you. It cannot be replicated just by patterns.